Hello, this is Miss Broom. I wanted to congratulate you on your successful completion of the Icebreaker assignment and welcome you to week 2. Each week as you complete your assignments, you will notice that there will be an announcement posted concerning the grades being posted for that week. For example, here we have the grades for week 1. I tell you that the grades have been posted, and I always encourage you to check the Blackboard grade book to make sure you agree with the grades that were entered. Mistakes can be made. If you ever have an issue where you don't feel like the grade that was entered was the appropriate grade, all you need to do is send me a message. You also have an announcement concerning the week that you're working in and the assignments that are due coming up. For example, this week you're going to be working in Chapter 1, covering all the sections 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. You'll need to complete the week number 2 My Math lab assignment by Monday, January 25th at 11:59 p.m. If you have questions or problems with any of the material, please make sure that you contact me. I encourage you to check the Blackboard website daily for any announcements which are posted and to check for messages that I may have sent you, especially if you have submitted assignments recently or submitted a question to me recently. Let's take a look at Course Compass for just a minute. If we go over to the Course Compass website, when you go to work on your assignments, for example, if we go into Do Lab Assignment, this week you're working in the week number 2 lab assignment, and I've already done a few problems here for demonstration. If I click on week 2, notice this is due 125/10, so that's Monday at 11:59 p.m. After that date, you will have a past due over here or a score, and you will not be able to access the assignment again. If I go into the assignment, you'll see check marks on the problems that I have completed and an X on the problem that I may have missed. You can work on your lab assignment as often and as many times as you like up until the due date. Notice I did some problems, I left, and I'm coming back. You do not have to complete these in one sitting, unlike the test. The test must be completed in one sitting. When I go into this and I want to look at number 3, the one that I missed, I'll click on question number 3. Anytime you receive an X, typically you have 3 tries to get the problem right. And if you miss it in those 3 tries, it will count the problem wrong, and you'll have an X listed at the top or on your list of problems there. Alright, it's loading question number 3. You can see across the top here that I had an X, and it's showing me the correct answer. And typically if you hover around it, it'll tell you the answer that you put in. If you want to redo this problem, you can click on Similar Exercise here at the bottom, and it'll give me another exercise similar to this. I can see each of these are going up by a multiple of 4, so if I take the last number there, 1024, multiply by 4, I get 4096. I can enter or save. Okay, so now you'll notice that number 3 has been turned to a check. It is possible for you to make 100 on every single lab assignment. You have the opportunity to do these problems over and over and over until you get them correct. Let's look at number 5. On number 5, I answered 40, or the correct answer was 40, and I had answered 30. So let's try a similar exercise. All right, the pattern is 1-3, 1-12, 1-48. So it looks like every time it's a 1, and then it's going up by a multiple of 3, 4. 3 times 4 is 12, 12 times 4 is 48. So I need to find 48 times 4 is 192. Type in 192, either enter or check answer, and I got it correct. So the check mark, the X mark changed to a check mark. Alright, if I go to question number 7, there's another thing I want to point out. You'll notice that each time up here in the corner, it tells me this is question 1.1.13. That means there is a question in the textbook in Chapter 1, Section 1, problem number 13 that is exactly like this problem. Several of you have inquired about the textbook problems. Those are just for practice. They will not be collected. They will not be graded in any way. You can either choose to do them or choose not to do them. However, they are very similar to the problems that you have on your My Math Lab assignment and on your test. If we look at this problem, we've got 1/10, 1/14, 1/18, 1/22, 1/26. I need to put a fraction in, so I'm going to have to use my tools over here. Click on the fraction. I'm going to put in 1 over, and it's going up by 4 on the denominator, so that'll be 1/30. You can click on check answer or just hit enter, and that is correct. Okay, so sometimes you'll have to use your templates here on the left. A lot of times in the lab assignment, you're practicing really the process of how to put it in. With the MyMathLab program, you need to be very careful about reading the directions and following the directions exactly. If it says to enter a fraction and you enter a decimal, it will more than likely count it wrong. On a lab assignment, you just need to fix that. If that happens to you on a test and it's counted wrong and you feel like your answer is equivalent or should have been counted correctly, all you have to do is send me a message in Blackboard and I will review your test and change the grade if necessary. Alright, so if we looked at this again, if I'm going to bump over, there are 45 questions on this assignment. If I go over and look at question number 27, question number 27 is like question 1.2.29. So that's chapter 1, section 2, problem number 29. Now, one of the nice things about that, if you go back to Course Compass, there is a button here that says Textbook Solutions. You can click on that button and it'll open a link. Now, you have the answers to the odd problems in the back of your textbook, but this manual actually shows you the steps. Alright, so if I go into chapter 1 and I pull this up, it's going to give me the solution for every practice problem through the reading and every problem in the assignment that is an odd number problem. All of chapter 1 is in one file, so you sometimes have to scroll through until you find what you're looking for. So I'm going to scroll down to exercise set 1.2. I don't want to miss it. Section 1.2. Okay, right? Okay. So our problem again was, let me find what our problem number is, 1.2.29. So if I go back, 1.2.29, right here is a problem just like that in the textbook that you can refer to, and here is the worked out detailed solution of how you find that answer. This can be very helpful to you when you're trying to figure out what to do. You have the option of looking at the example in the textbook that was very similar to the problem on the MyMathLab. Also, when you're working in the MyMathLab program, you can do a Help Me Solve This. It'll talk you step by step how to work it. You can view an example where they'll show you an example of one like this that has been worked. You can send me a question and it'll send me an email, and that's okay. It'll link this question to your question, and I'll be able to go in and see exactly what you're talking about. You can print out the individual questions, you can print out the entire assignment. However, when you go back in, sometimes the questions will change, so you want to be careful not to print these unless you absolutely need to. Alright, as you're working, as always, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Make sure you save each time you go out of your assignment there. Always check Blackboard. I would encourage you again to check it daily for any updated announcements and any messages. Always go over to the Message Center and check for your messages. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Have a good week.